Okay. My name is Frances Abderhalden. I'm from the Criminal Justice Department. I am in the corrections track in our department, so I focus primarily on institutional corrections. This is a study that I did with Dr. Baker on inmate optimism and institutional obedience, or commitment to follow the institutional rules. So this kind of stemmed out of this idea that why do inmates continue to offend once they're incarcerated? If they're being incarcerated because they've been punished for some criminal behavior, shouldn't they stop their offending once they're incarcerated, once they're punished for their crime? So we were looking at how hopefulness or positive behavior or motivation while they're incarcerated maybe helps them stay within the confines of the institutional rules. We used a study conducted in a mid-Atlantic state, and our sample size was close to 3,000 inmates, male and female. Our research questions are, does more time that an inmate has left on their sentence mean that they are more or less the question is, are they less optimistic about their future? And then, do inmates with more optimism have more motivation to follow the rules and stay out of trouble? This question on our survey was constructed by a couple of different questions asking about how hopeful they were about their release, how committed they were to their incarceration, how concerned they were about their future when they were released from confinement. So all of those together made up this optimism measure. So we were highlighting some of the misconduct. So we looked at asking them about self-report as far as had they committed any infractions while they were incarcerated. Did they believe in the institutional rules of the facility? Were they interested in being obedient or not? Which all ended up constructing the institutional obedience measure. In the end, we found out that the inmates who were more optimistic about their future upon release were more likely to follow the rules of the institution, and the inmates who were less likely to be optimistic about their future were not as likely to follow the rules. In addition, we found that people who had children and had spent more time incarcerated, and that the gender of the facility, so not necessarily the specific gender of the inmate, but the facility gender mattered as far as their want to follow the institutional rules and their commitment to it. We also found that optimism was actually a stronger predictor of following institutional rules compared to any of their actual violent offenses while they were incarcerated. So that's kind of interesting that even if they had committed past infractions while they were incarcerated, if they were optimistic, that outweighed any sort of hold from actual institutional misconduct before. So optimism overall was actually one of our strongest predictors of being able to follow the institutional rules. And that's all I have for you today.